Okay, so today I didn't spend almost any time writing actual music. I spent it chasing logic gremlins and learning about just how complicated things can become when you have multiple layers of busing going on. So we're in this kind of section. I will play you some of the music since the last time I recorded. I did quite a bit of work last night and then a little bit today, but mostly troubleshooting. We're in this kind of build section going back into the drop, same place we were yesterday, and I'm trying to work on making this one section really isolated, really clean, so we kind of have this big space change here. I'll kind of play you what it sounds like here right now. Tell me what you think about this. The bass is all wrong. This piece I had to rebuild because I had somehow deleted it at some point, so that's different. But this is maybe a little bit better than it was yesterday. There's a lot of like peaky, bad EQ sort of stuff going on too as well. But enough complaints about how bad I am at doing this. This section here, this sound. Well, I spent a lot of time just having this solo, trying to make that sound, and it's still, like I said, it's got a lot of like stuff kind of like sticking out at me that I don't like. But I am doing this little thing where it kind of like expands and takes up space, and then hands off to this guy up here. I made a second channel of this sound, a second bus that has kind of all the exact same synths going on, so I could go in and change the synths, and the synths do sound remarkably different. If I just kind of like listen to them side by side here, they have basically the exact same set of effects here. The only difference is that Pro Q4 that we've got in there, and the gate, which I actually kind of want the gate. I meant for the gate to be on the whole time anyways. So yeah, this Pro Q4 I just showed you with the expanding kind of like band is the only thing that's different between the two as far as effects on the bus go, but the synths themselves are actually notably different. And the big thing that's happening differently in these sounds is the serum. I'm just kind of like dialing back on some of the effects. I turn off the hyper, which creates a lot of like kind of crunchy, like very small room reverb that I think even with the gating we have going on was kind of making the sound feel like it was living in a space in the spots where you were hearing it. I made a few other small changes to the synths as well, but the thing I spent the majority of time doing today was trying to figure out why I was hearing like some echo on this sound. For the fun of a decent YouTube video, I've recreated the problem here. This is what it sounded like basically the whole time I was working today. You hear that like I don't know, it sounds like almost like a moaning like wind howl at the beginning. It's strange, right? And when I solo it here though, now it's gone, which is really strange because if I mute this, there's no sound happening, right? There's that little click at the beginning, but I'm sure it's just one of these things having like the mute stopping earlier. Actually, no, it's actually because Logic does this silly thing where it backs the playhead up just a little bit to start playing. I think it has something to do with like look ahead, and if I put in low latency recording, it won't do that. But this is so no sounds are happening, and if I solo this sound, it's clean, it sounds fine, but if I just play it where it's the only thing happening, all the other channels are open, we get that weird sort of thing over the top of it. And I could not for the life of me figure out where it was coming from. It took me so long to like go through each setting here, like mute all these things, and then I would go up and like try to like mute other things, and I couldn't figure things out. And so eventually I started just bypassing buses. I started sending this to the stereo out, sending this to the stereo out, trying to see like what was changing things. Eventually found that this Pro Q4, that we have spectral side chaining out the voices, just that one specific stack of voices, because that tail is technically hanging over here. It's side chaining from this guy, from this group of channels here. But this group of channels, we have muting at this spot, yet that doesn't change the fact that it's still reading the audio under the mute and is still side chaining out things and is taking, it's still shaping those things out. And so if I go in and I put in a bypass here, which I really wanted this thing bypass the whole time until the very end anyways, now it's fine. That took me 40 minutes of, it was just, it's weird like that now. It took me so long to kind of go up the chain and figure out what things there was. I was so certain it was coming from something like on one of the buses, but like now the solo situation actually makes sense. I just kind of felt like a bug, and I've just been experiencing other really annoying bug-like things all day in Logic. So this session is becoming quite large at this point, and definitely can't be helping the problem. But so yeah, the fact that I have these channels of sound all going into one bus that's going into another bus that's technically going into another bus over here. Oh my goodness, all the way over here. This guy that then goes into this guy. Just a lot going on. There's a lot of rooms, a lot of spots here for problems to pop up. So learn something about chasing down problems and how things work in Logic, as well as some stuff with automation that was annoying. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm left with a sound I still don't really love. It sounds, it doesn't sound like this is definitely better than these guys over here, which were like when they were like, it was so busy and it had that kind of like weird reverb crunch to it. But it still sounds, it still doesn't sound clean enough, and it doesn't sound like it's filling my head. It sounds like there's like a little sound in front of me, and I wanted to feel like I'm filling my head. The way you guys, for those of you that were like around when we were doing like the Radiohead drum and bass, the way I got that sound to sound, I actually tried putting all of the sounds here into that same synth sound and making. If I do it again here, it was this. I just mute this guy. It was like this. That's closer. It's just, it sounds like you're suddenly like in a computer's inside your brain. That's just kind of what I want it to sound like. But I don't want to have to replace all these with this. And I do like that sound. That sound is cool. We designed the whole piece kind of around this specific synth sample. I thought the synth sample was cool, so I wanted it to, I want that to continue on here. I need to figure out how to make that sound have sort of this space to it. And and we're not far. I think the main problem is the dynamic range. That there's some spots that kind of like really spike out at you loudly, and there's some spots that are really are kind of like just quieter and just feel just kind of empty. So I need to change up the space on that one and continue to work on it. And I'm probably making it way more complicated than it needs to be, but that's all we had time for today. I'm glad to be back home, and we'll see. Man, we're getting close to the end of the challenge here, which is really, really crazy to say. So hopefully we can close out strong. And yeah, that's all we have time for today. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.